The text arrived at 11:43 p.m., a time when the house was quiet and I should have been asleep. I picked up my phone with a sense of casual curiosity, expecting something mundane, maybe a late meme, a work update, or one of those random, "I miss you" messages from friends. Instead, my heart froze as I read the words. "I'm here. I can't wait to see you tonight." It was from her. My wife. I stared at the screen, the phone shaking slightly in my hand. My mind refused to process it immediately. My wife, my partner of 10 years, the woman I had built a life with, was planning to meet her ex. My stomach churned violently, a mix of disbelief, anger, and betrayal. For a moment I couldn't breathe. I set the phone down, my fingers trembling. I could feel the walls of our bedroom closing in, suffocating me with their silence. The muffled hum of the refrigerator downstairs, the faint creak of the wind through the old windows. I noticed everything in an unnatural, hyper-aware way. I knew I had to act. But how? My mind raced. Confront her immediately. Wait and see. Call her. Text her back. All of these options seemed inadequate. None of them seemed strong enough to stop her from walking through that door tonight with him. I remembered the quiet confidence she had always carried, the way she could smile, convince, and charm without a hint of doubt. And yet, in that very confidence, I sensed the fragility of what we had. Maybe this was the fracture that had been there all along, hidden under laughter, shared breakfasts, and soft touches. I left the bedroom quietly, descending the stairs like a ghost in my own home. The living room was dark except for the faint glow of the streetlight filtering through the curtains. My mind sharpened with a singular, brutal clarity. If I didn't stop this tonight, nothing would ever be the same. I found her in the kitchen. She wasn't sneaky about it. No shadows, no half-hearted attempts to hide. She was typing on her phone, leaning casually against the counter, one hand resting lightly on the granite. Her hair fell across her shoulder in soft waves, the same waves I used to trace absent-mindedly when we were in love. I felt my throat tighten. Anger, hurt, and disbelief tangled together in a violent knot inside me. "You're still awake," she said casually without looking up. "Yeah," I said, my voice quieter than I intended, almost afraid she would hear the tremor. "And who's that message for?" She glanced at her phone, an eyebrow raised, and then a small, almost imperceptible smirk appeared. "It's nothing. Just an old friend," she said. My stomach sank. "Old friend," I repeated, each word measured, controlled. "The kind of old friend you meet in the middle of the night, at a hotel?" Her smirk faltered slightly. "You're overreacting." I shook my head. "I don't think so. I don't think I am." I stepped closer, and my voice dropped to a near whisper. 2 quiet words left my mouth unplanned, but loaded with the weight of all my fear, all my pain, all the raw, trembling hurt of 10 years of love. "Not tonight." She looked up at me, truly looked, and for the first time I saw it. The hesitation, the tiny flicker of guilt, the momentary rupture in her otherwise composed exterior. "Excuse me?" she asked, though her voice had lost some of its usual certainty. I took another step toward her, my hands unclenching slowly at my sides. "Not tonight," I repeated, soft but firm. "Because if you go out there, with him, it's over. Do you understand?" Her face paled slightly, but she quickly recovered, a practiced mask settling over her features. "You think I would mean? You're being dramatic." I swallowed the lump in my throat, refusing to let my anger control me. "I'm not being dramatic. I'm asking you to make a choice. Because if you leave, you're choosing him over me. And I won't fight for something that's already gone." The room was heavy with silence, thick and suffocating. She put her phone down, finally meeting my gaze fully, and I saw the storm behind her eyes. The conflict, the selfish desire, the pull of temptation, and something else too. The remnants of love. "You always think everything is so black and white," she whispered, almost to herself. "Maybe it isn't about choosing him or you. Maybe I just need something that doesn't exist here anymore." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. My chest felt hollow, my knees weak. I had spent years loving this woman, building a life, forgiving her moods, celebrating her joys, comforting her fears. And now she was telling me that it wasn't enough. Maybe we stopped listening to each other, I admitted, my voice breaking. Maybe I've been so focused on holding us together I forgot to see you. But going to him, that's not listening. That's leaving. She swallowed hard, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I don't know if I can stay, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I reached out slowly, placing my hand over hers on the counter. The warmth of her skin was familiar, a reminder of all the nights we had held each other through storms, real and imagined. Then we talk, I said softly. Not him, not anyone else. Just us. Right here, right now. The tension in her body faltered. The smirk, the casual indifference, all melted away. For the first time that night I saw her fully. Scared, conflicted, vulnerable. And I realized something crucial. The betrayal wasn't just about the ex. It was about the distance that had grown between us, the unspoken resentments, the silent loneliness we had allowed to fester. She nodded slowly, almost imperceptibly, and I felt a small, cautious spark of hope. Not relief, not resolution, but a chance, maybe our last chance, to confront the truth of us. We sat down at the kitchen table, her phone forgotten on the counter. We didn't speak immediately. The silence was heavy but not cruel. It was honest, painful, necessary. Finally she whispered, I don't know why I texted him. I don't know what I wanted. I reached across the table, taking her hand in mine, gripping it tightly. You wanted something you thought you couldn't get from me, I said quietly. But maybe you never stopped wanting us. Even if you forgot for a moment tonight. Her tears spilled over then, unrestrained, falling freely onto the table. And I felt my own eyes sting because I had wanted this woman with every part of me for 10 years, and I wasn't ready to lose her. Not like this, not over one night of confusion, one lapse of judgment. We talked for hours that night. Every word, every confession, every shaky admission was a thread, slowly stitching us back together. We spoke of unmet needs, unspoken fears, and the loneliness that had crept into our marriage like a silent thief. We didn't promise perfection because neither of us could. But we promised presence, promised effort, promised that the next time temptation came, we'd face it together, not in secret, not alone. By dawn, the first light of morning spilled across the kitchen, pale and soft. We were exhausted, hearts heavy, yet somehow lighter. The ex was forgotten, the phone untouched. The possibility of betrayal dissolved by 2 quiet words that had stopped everything before it began. Not tonight. It was a simple phrase, but it held all the power in the world. Power not just to halt a moment of betrayal, but to reclaim a marriage, to remind 2 people of what had brought them together, and to awaken the courage to face the uncomfortable truths that love demands. We didn't know what the future held. Maybe we would stumble again. Maybe the cracks would resurface. But that night we chose each other. And sometimes I realized that's all that matters. Not perfection, not absence of pain, but the willingness to fight for each other, quietly, fiercely, and with every fragile piece of your heart. And in that quiet dawn I held her, and she held me back, and for the first time in months, the world outside didn't matter. Because inside those 2 words, inside that small defiant choice, we had found each other again.